Welcome to Flutter Teacher. In this session, we will talk about abstract method and abstract class. So without wasting time, let's get started. Let's start a discussion from the abstract method. The method without body or definition is known as the abstract method. You can observe in line number 4, I have defined a method called void test, and this test method don't have the opening and closing curly bracket. Now such a method that has no opening and closing curly bracket means a method without body or definition. That method is known as the abstract method. Let me show you some error in this code. So dartpad is showing me that this test method must have a body, or it just giving me suggestion that try to make ABC as abstract. This is because the method is abstract, and to place the method inside any class, so that class must be the abstract class. It means abstract method can only be there in abstract class. So it cannot be there in a concrete class. So as ABC is a concrete class, so we cannot have abstract method in that one. So in order to make this method to place inside a class, so I must have to make this class ABC as the abstract class. Now here abstract class comes in a picture. But before I talk what is this abstract class and what it is, so let me tell you, means you might be thinking about a big question that what is use of this abstract method? Means it is a method without a body or without definition. There is nothing in this method. Then why someone should write this abstract method and why someone should put that one inside the abstract class? So don't worry, I will talk about that one in the same video, and I will also explain you that one with the practical and real life example. But before that, let's move on to the abstract class. So the class which is declared with abstract keyword is known as the abstract class. So that has given the keyword called abstract. So whenever we define our class with abstract, so we have to use the keyword called abstract, then we'll write the class keyword, then the name of class, and then we have to define the class, means we have to write definition of class. Now you can observe here for this class ABC, as I have written the abstract keyword. Now this ABC becomes the abstract class, and now this class can have the abstract method because we had the error right now, but now it's removed because the class ABC is made abstract by me. Now it's not the case that when a class is abstract, then it must have the abstract method. No, it's not the case. So abstract class can have the abstract method. We can place non-abstract method, means we can place the concrete methods in that class, and it can also have a combination of both. It's important to note that abstract class cannot be instantiated, means we cannot create the object of abstract class. So if I try here, let's say if I define a main method here, and inside this method, let's say if I write here where the obj is equals to abc. So in this case, immediately Dartpad will give me an error. It says that abstract class cannot be instantiated. So it's not possible to create the object of abstract class. So it's not possible, I will talk about in the question answer session. So it will be at the end of this video. Now let me explain the significance of abstract class. Consider we have got a class called XYZ, and inside this XYZ, I just want to extend this abstract class. So I need to write here extends ABC. Now you can observe here, immediately Dartpad is giving me an error for line number 7, that is for the class XYZ. This is because whenever we have the subclass that extends abstract class, so for this specific subclass, it's compulsory that it should override or it should implement all the abstract method present in the abstract class. So in this case, the class ABC is abstract and that contains the abstract method called test. So that's the reason for this class XYZ, it's compulsory that this class should have the test method implemented. So I need to go here in this class XYZ and I have to put a definition, that is implementation of this method test here. Let me comment out this line here. Now you can observe here the error has removed from the line number 7. It's completely fine. Now consider a situation, this class A has got 4 methods, and out of these 4 methods, 2 methods are abstract and 2 methods are concrete, means these are the method with body or definition. Now in this case for XYZ class, it's compulsory that it has to override only 2 abstract method, and just to override the concrete method, it's completely the decision of class XYZ, means it's not compulsory, but to override 2 abstract method, it's compulsory. Now let me answer the question that you are eagerly waiting for, and that is the what is the exact use or practical use of abstract method and the abstract class. You can observe here I have a class called account that contains 2 abstract method and 1 non-abstract method, and I have 2 subclasses of this class account. Now let me tell you straightforwardly. So the abstract method or abstract class is basically used to force a subclass to override specific method from the subclass. Consider I want to define a class account, and I don't want to define this method withdraw and deposit. Rather, I want that subclass, means whatever class that extends this account class, has to override this method withdraw and deposit. So for that purpose, I can make my method abstract, and to put the method abstract, I should have the abstract class. That is what the exact use of abstract method and abstract class here. Now let me explain this example in some different scenario. Consider, and I'm just working on the application for some bank system. And as we know that application is not developed by a single person, it is developed by the team. So consider there is some team who is working over the saving account, and there is another team that is working on the current account. So as the team leader, what I will do, I will create a class called account, and I will put two methods, say abstract withdraw and the deposit. And I will ask my team that they have to just extend my class account for their saving account and for the current account. So why I will do that one? So it gives me assurance, it gives me guarantee that both this saving account and current account class will have the two methods that I want to implement. Means I can have a restriction, I can have force for these classes that they will behave, that means they will do whatever I want to do or I will instruct them. So that is assurance. Now you might say that being a boss or being a team leader, I can just tell them and they will go and follow. Yeah, that will be done, means that might be case, but it's not guaranteed that this team will have the same spelling or they will do the same list of parameters and all these things, and the current class account will do the same thing. So it's not the case, means they can have their own different conventions of writing the methods and all these things, but I don't want to do that. I want the same method must be implemented by this one and by that class also. And what I will do, I will use the concept called polymorphism. So I hope you know what is this polymorphism. So I will go with method overriding and I will use polymorphism, and that helps me to have the practical use of object-oriented programming. And this is how means application is developed. We go with the abstract classes and we go on forcing these subclasses to override the abstract methods. For the industry point of view, abstract method acts as the specification. So I hope you might know what is specification. Specification means telling what to do without explaining how to do. So whenever we have the abstract method, means it is telling a subclass that they have to define withdraw method, they have to define this the method called deposit. But how to define that one, what to write inside that one, that is the decision of the subclass. But what to do is the decision of superclass, and how to do that one, it is the decision of subclass. And whenever we have the concrete method, that is completely defined method inside the subclass, means sorry, inside the superclass, inside the abstract class, then such a method will now act as the guideline for the subclasses. So make sure that whenever we have abstract class contains the guidelines and specifications for the subclass. So guidelines are not made to be overridden, means it's the choice of subclass, but it's compulsory to implement all the specifications that are given by the superclass, that is by the abstract class to the subclass. Now let's understand a complete example program for the abstract class. We have a class called shape, which is the abstract class, and that contains two fields dim1 and dim2. We have a two parameter constructor that initialize the value of dim1 and dim2. Then we have the method called area, and that is the abstract here. And as it is abstract, I need to make my class abstract, and that's what I have done smartly here. Then we have the class for rectangle that acts as a subclass for the shape class. And as we know that the superclass don't have the default constructor. That's the reason I need to put a call to the superclass constructor using the super. So that's what I have done here. Means we have a rectangle class constructor that accepts the value of the length and breadth. That is, I'm passing to the dim1 and dim2 by means of this superclass constructor. So if you don't know what is the super and how to use that one, we have a video related to that one. Go ahead and watch that. Link is also there in the description. Then what I have done, as we know that whenever we extend the abstract class, it's compulsory for the subclass to override the abstract method present in the abstract class. And that's what I have followed here. And with respect to the guidelines given by the Dart, I have written here override. So this is the annotation. Okay. Then I have a proper implementation of this void area method, which is simply printing the area of rectangle using some formula. Then we have class called triangle. It is also extending class shape, and as class shape is the as this class shape is the abstract class, I have to define this area method because it's compulsory. Then I have just defined here the area of triangle, that is printing the area of triangle using some formula. Then it again has the two parameter constructor, and it's compulsory for us to make a call to superclass constructor by passing two parameters here. Inside the main, I have created two objects, the object of rectangle and object of triangle here. And over those objects of rectangle and triangle, I have just called the method called area. Let me run that one. It will simply print the area of rectangle and area of triangle on the screen. That's fine here. Now, the important point that you should observe here, that I want the class shape to be a generic type of class. Means there has to be area method, but there is no area for that. So whichever class that extends shape will get these properties, but it will get a responsibility in the form of area. So that class must have to define area. So as a rectangle is free to define the area of rectangle means by using that formula. And the triangle can have the area, but here the implementation of area goes on means the implementation of area will be different here. That's what I explained you. So shape class is just saying that you have to implement the method area means you have to override the method area. So it is a specification. So how to write the area means how to calculate the area. It is different for the rectangle class and it is different for the triangle class, and that's what I have means I have done properly here. Let me go for question association. So I will talk about 10 questions related to abstract method and abstract class. And I'm really thankful to guys that they love to have this question association. Means lots of subscribers, lots of my viewers are just saying that they love to watch these types of content, and their knowledge is getting improved by means of this question and answers. So let's start from the first question and answer means from the first question. So the first question is why abstract class cannot be instantiated means why it's not possible to create the abstract class practically. So let's try to understand here. We have a class called text that is the abstract class. So as it is abstract class, I'm free to write abstract method, and that's what I have done here in line number 4. Now in main, consider that Dart is allowing me. Consider that Dart is just giving some special facility. I have just created object here in line number 8. And over this object, if I call the show data method, you can observe here, show data is abstract. So as it is abstract method, and if I call that one, so we know that abstract method doesn't have anything to execute. So if I call that method line number 9, then what Dart will execute? Because there is nothing to execute, then how to execute that method? That's the reason we cannot create object of this abstract class. Now you might have a question that we can create the subclass of abstract class and we can call that method over the subclass object. Then how it is possible? So let's understand this one. Consider I have got the class, let's say demo here, and inside this demo class, what I'm doing here say test, and then instead of creating object of this test, I will create object of demo here. Now you can observe one important thing here. This class test is abstract, so it has the show method means show data is abstract. But whenever we have a subclass, so inside this subclass, it's compulsory to have a definition of the show data. Means I need to do something. Means I need to write definition of for this one. So whenever we create the object of subclass, so for this subclass, we have a complete definition or we have concrete definition of show data. Means now when I'm calling show data over this object demo, there is no question that means what is to call means we have a complete definition. But when you talk about these super class or when you talk about this abstract class, there is not a complete definition of this method. The second question is, can we define constructor in abstract class? And if it is possible, how many constructors we can write? My clear answer is yes, it's possible. We can define constructors in the abstract class, and as per the number of constructors, we can write as many constructors in the abstract class. But make sure that we should follow all the rules and regulations of the constructors, means writing the constructors. So if you don't know what is constructor, how to write that one, and what are the rules for writing the constructor, go ahead and watch the video related to constructor. Link is also there in the description. After understanding second question, I know you might have doubt about the third question, that is when constructor of this abstract class will be called, because we know that abstract class cannot be instantiated. We cannot create object of abstract class. Then when abstract class constructor will be called, or what makes a significance of writing the abstract class constructor? Okay, let's try to understand here. We have a class called text, which is the abstract class, and I have defined default constructor that simply prints some message. Then we have the name constructor in the text class. So just for I have a better understanding, I have two different constructors in the abstract class called test. Then we have class demo that acts as the subclass and which is extending a test class here. Demo has also got the nice default constructor here. Inside the main, I have simply created object of demo because we can't create object of test, but we can create object of subclass, and that's what I have done here. So we know that whenever we create object of a subclass, before calling the constructor of subclass, the default constructor of superclass gets called, and that's what we have seen in the video called constructors in inheritance. And the same thing is applicable for the abstract class also. Okay, you might get shocked when I run this program. You will observe here, before calling the constructor of demo, the constructor of test will be called first, then the constructor of demo. I hope it's clear that this is the place where the object or where the constructor of abstract class gets called. So whenever we create object of subclass, the appropriate constructor of that abstract class gets called. By default, it is calling the default constructor. So I can change it to, let's say I can write here super and bracket. So whenever I'm writing this super with bracket means it's a call to superclass constructor. We have again a special video to understand the use of super and the constructors in inheritance. So as there is no parameter in the super and it will call the default constructor. When I run the program, I will have the same output, say test called and the demo called. This is because I'm simply calling default constructor and the after that means the demo constructor will be called. Now I can also call this test.sumName that is named constructor. So let me write here say super.sumName, and when I rerun the program, we'll observe here instead of calling the default constructor, now it will call the test.sumName constructor and then the demo constructor will be called. So I hope it's clear for you guys when constructors of this abstract class is called and what is the significance of writing constructors in the abstract class. Fourth question is, can we implement abstract class? So I'm sorry if you don't know about what is this implement and what is interface. We'll talk about that one in our upcoming videos. But for those who understand what is implement and all these things, okay, try to focus on this concept here. So the question says, can we implement the abstract class? Yes, it's possible. We can implement the abstract class. Means we can make the use of abstract class as the interface. So you can observe here we have a class test that contains the abstract method called show data and it has the concrete method called do something. So we have a class demo here. So let me try to write here extend. So I'm writing here extends the test. Now as I'm extending the test inside the demo, it means I just want to use this test abstract class as a class. Means I'm using this class as a class here. Means I'm using extend not implement. So you can observe here in this class demo, it's compulsory for me to have implementation of the show data. Means it's compulsory that I should define the abstract method. Means I don't need to care. Means I don't need to think about this. Do something. I just have to be serious about the show data. Okay, that's what when I extend it. Now instead of extends, if I write here, let's say implements, and you can observe here, as I have written implements, it means I don't want to use this class test as a class. I want to use this class test as the abstract class. And as we know that whenever we implement abstract class, it's compulsory for the subclass to override all the methods. Means whatever method it has, whether it has the abstract, non-abstract method, doesn't matter. So whatever method means it has two methods. So for this class demo, it's compulsory to override void show data and to implement this do something. That's the reason you can observe here. I'm getting error here. It says that it has to implement the do something and the show data method. So hope it's clear that we can implement abstract class, but when we implement abstract class, it acts as the interface. And whenever we have a subclass, so that subclass must have to implement all the methods present in abstract class, irrespective whether it is abstract or non-abstract method. You have to implement all the methods in abstract class. The fifth question is, can we have all abstract or all concrete methods in abstract class? Yeah, it's possible. Means we can have a class which is abstract class and that can contain all abstract method, or we can have a class which is abstract and that contains no abstract method. Means we can have all concrete methods, and even we can have a class which is abstract and that contains a combination of concrete as well as the abstract method. Sixth question is, what is the practical use of abstract class? We already seen this topic, the use of abstract class and abstract method, but let me just describe it in a short. So whenever we want a subclass to override a specific method present in superclass, means we want to force a subclass that this method must be overridden by a subclass anyhow, any case. Then in this case, we have to define that method as abstract, and to put that method abstract, a class must be abstract. And we'll ask that subclass that it has to extend this class. Now, as this subclass is extending abstract class, it's compulsory for that class to implement or override that specific method. Seventh question is, name some abstract classes in Flutter that we deal with. So this is the most common question asked to me. Lots of people ask me that we use Flutter. Is there means do really Flutter has the abstract classes? Means do we interact with abstract classes in Flutter? I will say yes. There are so many abstract classes in Flutter. So let me just name some of them that we face in day-to-day life. So guys, you might not believe the most important class that we use build context. This is the abstract class. Widget class is again abstract. The custom painter, lots of programmers say that custom painter is my favorite widget and all these things, or it's a favorite class. So it's again the abstract class. Inherited widget, if you use this one, so it is again the abstract class. So there are so many abstract classes in Flutter. The eighth question is, what happens when subclass won't implement abstract method of abstract class? We know that whenever we have the abstract class, so here is abstract class that contains the method test. So it is being asked that what if this class A don't want to implement the methods present in abstract class. So definitely the class B will have error because class B is not following the convention what the abstract class is. So there will be error, means you can't compile this program. But lots of people ask me that is it possible that we can remove or we can ignore this error without implementing this method? I will say yes, it's possible, but it's means it's not recommended. So you can also make this class B as abstract, and your error will just disappear. But make sure that in this case your A and B both become the abstract class. Now you might have a question how it's possible, means how that error has resolved. You know that when we just extend this class A inside B, so when there is no abstract here, so what is happening here, this method means void test method is going to be present inside this class B, and practically the abstract method cannot be there in this class B, means it cannot be there in the concrete class. But when I make my class abstract, means if I write here, let's say abstract class B, it means what is happening here, this void test method of A is going inside the class B, and as class B is itself abstract, so it's possible that we can have this abstract method, and that is how the error is resolved. But make sure we can't instantiate this class A and B as well. Ninth question is, can we write static members in abstract class? It means can we define static fields, means can we define static variables and static methods in abstract class? I will say yes, it's completely fine to have static variables and the static methods inside the abstract class. Because whenever we want to use the static members, we never need to deal with the object. Instead, we have to use class name dot method name. So that makes a sense that we can have the static members of abstract class and we don't need to instantiate that one. Simply we can make the use of that one. And whenever okay moreover when these methods or when the static members when we think about this one inside a class B, so it's not a case that you are getting it readily. I means any case the static members of this super class has to be used by means of the class name dot something inside the subclass. Now the last question is, can we define getters and setters in abstract class? I will say yes, it's completely fine to have the getters and setters inside the abstract class. You can observe here we have the class A, which is the abstract class that contains the final field x, means underscore x with value 10. Then we have a getter that returns the value of x, and we have a setter also that is simply setting the value of x. So it's completely fine here. But we know that we can't access these getters and setters here directly because A can't be instantiated. So that's why I have defined the class B, and I can instantiate this class B here. And by means of the object of B, I can simply invoke or I can simply use these getters and setters over this object of B. You can observe here, I'm getting output 20 for this getter here. But make sure that don't try to use this getters and setters as a static, otherwise you might be in trouble. That's it for this video. See you guys in the next video. If you really like the way I'm explaining the concept, I'm teaching the things, then don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell notification button to get my latest videos.